Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday night feature match here on Overwatch Tranquility. My name is NPC, and joining me is Bard and Death Knot. We're going to be talking about the Doodles and Ranch Revolution. I know I added a V to Doodles, but I don't think it's the Doodles. I think it's just Doodles. So tell me a little bit about the Doodles.
So Doodles, they formed last season. Started as a group of friends. Now coming into this season, they're half of the original team has left. But they got some good new pickups. Um, Interesting thing about them is instead of like having traditional tryouts and stuff for new players, they just throw their tryouts in comp and play comp with them. I think that's kind of a pretty cool way to do it, to be honest with you. They've always been a team that's just here to have fun, enjoy playing with each other. The only expectations they have for each other are having a good time, and but at the same time, they still see themselves as one of the top four teams, and they are.
They are a pretty good team indeed. That's kind of how Get Off My Land works. We play a few quick play games, and hey, if we get along, then you're on the team. That's the way it works. Bard, tell me a little bit about Ranch Revolution. It sounds like a new team. I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, I know. They've got this really awesome logo, voted best logo in Harmony tier, and it's on the rise. Probably going to be the best logo in Trank by the end of the season. But weird, yeah. Ranch Revolution doesn't sound super familiar, but you do some digging. They were Venom Cheese last season, coming off of some ups and downs in the last season, and coming into this season, new logo. Some roster changes, new name, and they are looking better than ever. They've had a really solid start to the season, and they're looking to be consistently good in Harmony tier going forward. And I like looking at the logo, and I like watching them play. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of them.
All right, new year, new me for Venom Cheese, Ranch Revolution. All right, that sounds good. Tell me a little bit about the Doodles. I want to know, who is their MVP?
So MVP for Doodles, we're looking at Sarcastic. Now the thing about Doodles is they all flex, kind of like your team, NPC. But they all flex around, but they do have their preferred roles, as anyone does. Sarcastic, he prefers DPS. He was actually one of their tank players last season, but now he's shown like some really good flexibility, a lot of improvement in mechanics and stuff, and he's playing a lot of DPS. He's playing a lot of hit scan, playing a lot of Ash, McCree. Just so happens that both of those work really well in this meta right now. So yeah, he's kind of having those pop off moments, and he's probably going to do some more tonight.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right, who's the MVP for Ranch Revolution, Bart?
Yeah, when I think MVP, I think flashy. I think a player with big pop-off potential, and I think DPS, because of course I do. And if I'm looking at a DPS, I'm looking for a familiar face. And if you were in Tranquility last season, a familiar face to you should be Young Lean on Ranch Revolutions. I cannot wait to see him play today, and I can't wait to see how hard he can pop off this season.
Okay. All right, good to know. Good to know. So we're going to talk a little bit about not necessarily the MVP, but the workhorse of the team. I want to find out the person that does all the work kind of behind the scenes. Maybe not necessarily somebody you'd expect. Who is that on the Doodles, Death Knot?
So for workhorse on Doodles, we've got Bagel Friend, and kind of moving with that whole theme with this team. She does a lot of flexing in between roles. She's usually on support or tank. I actually got to talk to Bagel personally for this part, and she was surprised and honored that her GM Potato picked her as the workhorse for the team. Her goal has been to improve as much as possible and be a stable rock for her team. She's trying to enable everybody as much as possible. She's not looking for those flashy plays, that you'd see from like DPS, stuff like that. She just wants to be someone that the team can rely on. And a really cool thing that she's trying to do going beyond the whole, being a good player, obviously, is she's trying to make a big attempt to kind of put her team like in the positive, as a positive force for the community. She's been making a lot of friends with people across a lot of different teams. I played what is it, Phasmophobia with her. That's a scary, fun game. But we made friends. She's trying to participate in a lot of community events and stuff, and yeah, just be a positive person in the community and show her team as that, with that same positivity.
Excellent. The Doodles are definitely a notoriously friendly breed. What about Ranch Ranch Revolution? Who's the workhorse on that team, Bard?
Yeah, kind of the same thing as what Death Not just said. When I think of workhorse, I think of those supports. I've played DPS, I've played tank. You got to have those supports to keep you up, and they do everything. They peel for their DPS in the back line, and they enable their tanks in the front line. And when I think of supports that are doing all that to keep their teams alive, I think of Shah Dynasty. And to me, I see that name and I think Shah Dynasty, because that is the level of gameplay that they're bringing on support.
Nasty. Nice. Okay. All right. So Death Knot, speaking of nasty players, who's underrated on Doodles? Who don't we talk about on the podcast? Who's not going to be talked about in the game, but actually doing some good work out there?
So, like it kind of happens a lot of times, the supports end up being, the underrated part of the team. This whole team flexes, but Eddie prefers support. They'll play some hit scan here and there. Their Widow is actually cracked, so look out for that. But the thing about Eddie is he's one of those supports that flex supports specifically that are like hungry to take the fight to the team. They want to be in there doing damage, not only healing, but they want to be trying to get those picks too. He's got some clutch moments, some last man standing moments so far, and he's underrated. So you're gonna have to kind of look out for those little pop off moments he has here and there behind the scenes.
All right. Yeah, Pistol Mercy. You love to see it. Shout out to Race FPV. Ranch Ranch Revolution also has an underrated player. Bard, who do you think that is?
Yeah, I think underrated. I think of those tank players. They do so much for their teams. They get rolled the most often with the state of the game, the last few metas, and they've got to keep those head on their shoulders. They've got to be in the game the whole time. They can't let anything drop. And to me, a name that should be familiar to everyone, but just isn't talked about nearly enough, is Den Vega on the tank for Ranch Ranch Revolutions. I cannot wait to see them play more. And honestly, I think they should be talked about way more than they are.
All right. Excellent. Looking forward to some epic tank play. But before the game's about to begin, let's talk about our predictions for the match. Death Knot, who do you think is going to come out on top, Doodles or Ranch Ranch Revolution?
Well, look, as much as I love Ranch Ranch's logo and the name, and it's just so great. It's probably the best logo and name combination I think I've seen in Trank so far. A name and a logo only gets you so far. We got Doodles. Anytime you get a team that they're all close friends and they all trust each other, and at the same time they're just trying to have fun. And they're all skilled at the same time, you end up with a really strong team, and I think Doodles are taking it 4-0 this time.
Doodles 4-0, bold claim. Bard, Death Knot thinks your team's going down in flames here. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know about going down in flames. I think looking back on last season when they were Venom Cheese and looking how much they've improved this season as Ranch Ranch Revolutions, I don't think we're in a spot where we can just write off Ranch Ranch Revolution. And I definitely think they're going to bring the fight to Doodles. They have a hunger to win, and they have a passion that they want to show that they can do what they can do and show how much they've improved. So I think I'm still going with Doodles just because they look so strong and so good right now. But I'm going with Doodles 3-1 because I'm going to give Ranch Ranch Revolution a little bit of edge to take one of those maps, maybe get a surprise upset on one of them.
All right. Well, here you have it, everybody. I can't wait for this game to get underway in just a few moments.
getting the first pick.
Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Void Kid putting on a clinic.
whole team's down. Oh!
Nailed it! I told you to stop resisting.
Experience tranquility.
Wait, in the intro, do I talk about it?
And good evening, Overwatch fans. Welcome back to Tranquility Community Harmony Arm A. Tonight, we got the Ranch Revolution, who are 2-1 versus the Doodles, who are 3-0. Will the Ranch dance their way to the winner stage, or will the Doodles bark all over their dreams? I'm Gizmo Charmander coming at you tonight on the play-by-play. Joining me tonight is Worst Overwatch on the analyst desk, and we have the man, the myth, the legend, Cavalier on production. How are we doing tonight, Worst?
Doing great. I'm here to cast a game. Hopefully, we get some energy in here to get this cast going. We'll be opening up on Ilios. But before that, a little bit more about these teams. Ranch Revolution here, 2-1. They started out 2-0, but took a defeat last week, 3-1. Looking to bounce back from that and take Doodles down from the 3-0 status. Try and play a little bit of a spoiler there. Make it so they don't go an easy 4-0 to start the stage. So that should be a little bit of an incentive there to kind of win and try to play a little spoiler. It's always fun to troll a couple teams. Even though Doodles does have an SR advantage, SR isn't that important. It's more about how the team cohesively works together. And I mean, in the past, I was playing on a Masters team with a Platinum Bastion 1 trick, and we managed to play GOATs with that. So SR really does not matter in the long run. It's just what is how the team gels together. So Ranch looking to get in here, maybe push up to 3-1, tie themselves with Doodles, but should be an interesting one going to Ilios here.
We're just waiting on one more member to show up for the Doodles. So just hold on to that for a second. But what kind of comps do you expect to see tonight, especially here on Ilios? You know, being that control map, and well, we all know what happens when people like to go to well.
Well, on Ilios, because obviously control 3 different maps, there's typically a lot of map points, but Ilios is one of those where it's pretty consistent across the board. A lot of dive can be played on Well and Ruins, whereas Lighthouse, you can still play that dive. A little bit more of a slower dive with a Zarya Ball, maybe, or a Zarya Winston, but I'm looking at these teams, and these teams don't seem to be worrying about meta too much, so I'm sure we'll see whatever they want to play. They will be coming out here on all 3 maps, but a lot of different things you can do here, and a lot of dive especially, but well, you could get some hog action, maybe some hog and ball action. That could be fun. Well, we'll see what they try to go in there on the well. A lot of fun picks can come out there in Ruins. Maybe we'll see some snipers. Maybe we'll see some flankers. Tracer can get up there, actually. A buff that came out long patches ago that no one really talked about for a while was the fact that Tracer could move up geometry very easily with her blink now, which made her way easier to kill Widowmakers. So it made her a lot more viable of a counter on places like Well and on Ruins and on places like Second Point Anubis. But we'll be entering the map here and see what we can get off to. But there will be a special guest joining us. One thing, Gizmo.
Oh yeah, believe it or not, we had to call up Johnny Cruz himself to throw on that hard bot Lucio. So get ready for some awesome boops. I'm hoping maybe a little feeding here and there, but you know what? At least we already know what one character is, so I'm gonna guess probably a good, nice little rush brawl here on the Lighthouse.
Yeah, so Lucio Bot's a little bit more of a renegade, a little more of a rogue, lets it go off on his own. So you can either try to play to the strengths of the Lucio, go that more rushy style, or you can just try to ignore him, hope he gets value on his own. Let's see what they'll go here. Will they work with their carry, or will they let him do his thing? It looks like they will be working with their carry here. We see the Moira coming out. We see the Ryan Zarya that was definitely a more rush style. But the Ashe is an odd pick. That's a lot slower than the other ones. It could prove hard for her to get a lot of value if the team rushes too far forward and she can't get angles on the enemy team. The enemy team will be looking to respond in kind with another rush style, but a little bit different with that Sim Reaper. There's no range on it. It's all up in your face. There's going to be a ton of frontline damage, and there's actually a ton of frontline mitigation because DM lasts longer and eats more damage than a bubble can.
Yeah, and also using that Symmetra turrets inside the lighthouse will help keep that control, especially even with that Lucio hardbot absolutely going to be dominating here.
Do look to be taking the point, taking some map control. This is absolutely critical here as the Symmetra can get set up on point, and it's almost impossible for them to retake this. The Ashe is going to have to get some clean dynamites off to try and take this point back, get some damage in.
The hard Lucio bot gets taken down along with Egan. Right now, Ranch has got easy point control and about to take out Zarya as well, but the Tifa following in, and that Symmetra doing absolute work, just being able to charge up and not have any problem getting a 3K in the first fight.
Yeah, it's very hard to retake there with that kind of composition. You have to run into them. I do like the swap onto the Pharaoh, onto the Junkrat, but I would also like to see a swap perhaps from the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt's going to have a really hard time trying to take space. The Symmetra's going to be peppering him down. The Reaper's going to be shooting his shield. And there's just, if you put a shield up in front of him, there's just going to be so much damage coming out from the Symmetra. And there's nothing here to pocket the Pharaoh. Maybe a Musa would be good. If Symmetra can get some orbs off, which she probably won't. But could happen. She could take damage and die, and D.Va can also jump in on them. But we'll be seeing here they're trying to come in.
And a huge anti-nade to start the fight. Here comes up the wall, and the Coalescence from the side of Ranch. Just keep backing up. Yingling taking down Reinhardt once again, and Lucio bot just showing that, you know, Johnny Cruz made it to Masters, but was he boosted, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know, but hey. Egan was finally able to take Youngling, but the fight is already over, and with that pick, it's not going to matter as the Doodles are going to have to regroup.
Now, if they get here fast, they do have a TP coming from spawn. They may be able to catch us out here where Sim is not set up on the point. The Pharah can maybe catch it out. They're going to be rotating, and Ranch isn't coming to save the Symmetra, it looks like. They'll cut her off. This could be disastrous for the side of Ranch, but they let him in. So, no, it's not.
Yeah, missed opportunity. Bad Shatter taking down the hard Lucio bot, but another Shatter coming out. The Ryan and Lucio taken out from Ranch. Starting fighting the Reaper, and this fight looks like it might finally be going in the Doodles' way after switching over to this just straight up damaged comp. But the fight's not over yet. They're still able to hold on to that point. Symmetra almost up to another wall, but the barrage comes in, taking down two, and finally, last but not least, D.Va does fall. Wall dry up in the bomb. But the contest is still continuing here as Reinhardt was able to make it back, and oh my goodness, Ranch might actually be able to stop it, but nope, there it goes, finally into the side of the Doodles.
Yeah, Lucio bot did a great job of baiting out the Shadow there, so it allowed Chaeyoung on that Reinhardt to get around the side of and hit a massive Shadow himself, which opened up the point. And at that point, just keep using your ultimates to try and cycle out. You did see a really late bomb there, perhaps thinking they could recontest, but died before they can even mech because they were on so much fire. But a really close fight. But coming in here, you do have the wall available, you do have the Reaper ult available here if you are Ranch. So this is a very winnable fight for you. The grab and the tire might be something that could be a threat to you, but if you have a good sim wall, a lot of that damage will be mitigated. And they were coming out, but they're getting booped around like crazy.
The wall comes out as the Junkrat gets taken down. The grab does come out with the Death Blossom trying to negate the damage from the grab. Beat drop is the Lucio pop with an awesome beat drop right there to turn around the fight once again. And with Riptire still active, honestly, Doodles could come back as long as Sargate can get in here, but it looks like the Symmetra once again, Youngling taken down too, but is not enough as the Junkrat does make it back in time. And this fight is now officially over, even with the TP trying to help Ranch get back. It's not enough.
So you saw Doodles that really played to the strengths of their carries, nanoing the Lucio to try and get some more, to try and let them live through the beat. They got the beat off and they kind of win the fight off of that. Too much sustain on that point. But now you have the barrage coming in here, nothing to negate it outside of that D.Va mech. So you will be wanting, if you're outside of the Ranch, to just focus on keeping your D.Va alive so that the barrage can get and track the Pharah as much as possible.
Tyre comes out, is not able to find anyone as Reinhardt charges straight into the point. D.Va demech'd, and the Lucio hardbot was booped off the map by Ryan, but there goes Shade. Ooh, Egan with a double boop. Honestly, I think it should have been a triple because I think they did catch Nasty with it. And Doodles take first map.
Yeah, so they saw there that the tire got the D.Va extremely low, the Pharah poked out, finished the fight there, and after that, kind of balled on point, the Ryan charged, hit the Lucio, but then was traded out immediately. Now you're down your Reinhardt, you're down all your damage mitigation there, you have no DM, you have no shield to stop any of the damage coming out there, and you have just too much coming at the side, and you can't keep up with it. Even with that nano from Maxwell, you just couldn't keep up with the damage, and then you kind of fell over at the end. But now we'll be moving on here. We will be seeing kind of more dive style that I alluded to in the beginning from both of these teams. One team opting in for that Wrecking Ball, and one of these teams opting in for that D.Va. We're seeing here what they try to do with that difference in comp. The D.Va a lot better at focusing out the Winston, can jump up, boop him out of position while he's jumping, and also so much damage coming out from those cannons that just melt through him, even through the armor.
Sarcasm trying to get an even poke, not having that mercy, but Echo does usually have the advantage. Lucio getting taken down by Youngling. Early pick fight for Ranch, but still not over yet as the point objective finally does open.
Yeah, it does look the objective a little opening. You see the Echo here with this ball trying to dive onto that backline, but not going to find anything. But Pharah in the backline with that pocket, proving to be very deadly.
Yeah, and the Wrecking Ball, he just absolutely taking and getting slapped and almost taken out. Oh, there he goes finally. But Fallen taking out the Lucio. The Deadeye coming out very early just to take out Egan. And
Yep,
with
Neo
that, Ranch takes the ball.
Yes, Neo GC, they're using the fact that they have that pocket to their advantage, finding the picks onto the backline, flanking around, using that damage boost to kind of one-shot the enemy carries, and with that, they now have complete point control, but the D.Va might get caught out here, but no, they don't have any ults yet, but there is the Nano here from Maxwell that can go onto the Winston to make space and try to pressure that backline. We'll be seeing exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, the Nano is popped out. Unfortunately, was countered by a Nano McCree. Is not able to find anyone, but almost has Primal. Does get taken out by Youngling. And whoop. Fall? Hello? About to fall? No, just not quite yet. Was able to save himself. Gets a nice PD on the hard bot Lucio with the minefield about to come up. Ranch might be able to hold on because of that far, just absolutely dominating with the damage gain. And yeah, it's time for the Doodles to start to regroup once again.
Yeah, the Nano does come out there. Oh, but not over yet. They're trying to recontest. They do find the Pharah late, but not much you can do with it. You have to back off. You only need Ash and the Monkey, and you don't have the pressure to actually go and jump out on the Winston, so you're just kind of sitting there. He does jump, but he will die very soon. Popping the Primal, but he shouldn't last very long.
Yeah, Youngling taking out Bagel with that Deadeye. Fallen getting Sarcasm, and once again, the Far does come back and takes out the hard Lucio bot, and that fight was over, and all it took was one Deadeye.
So at the beginning of that fight, you do see the Nano coming out from Maxwell onto Bagel Friend, but it's instantly countered by double Penne, finding that Nano onto the dive target, and he just lives through all the damage. So the Nano kind of gets wasted in effect, and the Winston gets boosted down. But now pushing in here, the mines will be used on point to very little effect from Doodles, but Ranches are more effective, I'd say.
Yeah, Egan finding that Mercy while the minefields does demeg Bagel, but Sarkit just showing that finally that double hit scan is what they need to stop the Far from being played. The hardball Lucio with another huge B coming in that might just be enough to help the Doodles stop from getting 100-0.
Yeah, and we do see here them taking the point now. This double hit scan will be much harder for Rantrench to dislodge. If you are Doodles, you should be looking to pocket your carries as much as possible, create as much space as possible. That's not space, that's death. And Neo GC has found Maxwell. This is the time to push.
Yeah, now you got, and not to mention Double Fine has that pharmacy where Egan doesn't on the Mercy. The D.Va Bomb is thrown out, is not able to find one, and actually I think it was able to be good for Bagels because they just got mech back, but are demech immediately, and the pile driver comes in, but slaps it through the hole! Oh my goodness, what a huge sleep right there. Here comes a Deadeye from Youngling once again, and this will be the Ranch map.
Yeah, a very, very chaotic point there. Very long, drawn-out fights with a lot of staggers and a lot of DPS dying and coming back to get more kills. And this really does come down to a little bit more of that the style that Rantrench is playing with that fair, a lot more controlling. For the longest time, Etkin couldn't really find much because he didn't have a mercy pocket as compared to Neo GC. Neo GC kind of had that ability to kind of go where he wanted because there wasn't much to threaten him. When they did find those picks onto Neo GC, when they removed the enemy of Pharaoh's threat, they were able to kind of move around the point and get more picks. But again, just a very chaotic fight there with Rantrans coming out on top. We'll be going in here. Both teams, actually, Rantrans looking to stick on this ball Zarya as Doodles will be looking for this more rushy comp. We'll see how they can fare with this fair. There's no Diva on the side, no other hit scan of any kind. Is it time for the anti-air rat to come out here from Sarcastic? It could be his time to shine. The mine into the mine, the mine to jump into the mine on the fair into a left click could one-shot them. So see if he has that ability to do so.
And a big pile drive to start the fight as both shields from the side of Doodles do come to point, and they do have control, but the hard bot Lucio does get antied and taken down. Youngling finding that Junkrat. Egan taking out the bot. Egan also taking out Youngling. The Reaper is showing that maybe the close range battle might be in favor for the Doodles, even with the far coming up, and they do capture the point right there, but it's not over yet, as Neo is already 60% coming in on that barrage. The res does come up from Fallen, but is it going to matter? There might be time for the Rantrans to maybe regroup, because right now they just can't seem to catch the break. Egan taking out the far once again. Oh my goodness, Reaper's like buff really did make him a sniper.
It's also the fact that Rantrench has no business getting this close to this Reaper. The McCree dying there to the Reaper is, unless he was pulled from a very weird position, he should not be in range to get killed by that Reaper. The comp that Doodles is playing, it's a very slow comp. There's a Lucio, but not much of a Lucio that's willing to speed off the point, and so you can just kind of pressure them with the fair. This ball should be looking to engage and disengage immediately. So the Diva goes in the backline. This could be a mistake, letting Etkin get that damage onto them.
Yeah, Sarkit taking out Youngling, and there goes the Immortality Field, protecting the team. Egan going to take out this baby Diva. Does have Death Blossom, will not need it for this fight, as the ball and the rest of the team of Rantrans just trickles in.
Yeah, it's a very odd situation here. Rantrans looking very discoordinated and just looking very discombobulated. They don't really know what to do. The Diva kind of went to the backline and just didn't do much of anything. But now the Reaper Blossom still available. Sarcastic going down though. This is their chance to push. None of that fair threat, and now Ekken's dead. Both carries are dead.
Yeah, the barrage comes out, finding the hardbot Lucio. Neo finding two characters. The Immortality does get dropped, but gets taken out immediately. Failing finds Shane, and with that, Rantrans will take the point.
Okay, Rantrans finally found those picks they needed onto the Ashe and the Reaper that were terrorizing them so long. The tanks aren't so much as a big of a threat because they are so slow. Once you get rid of the people that are going to be threatening your Pharah, once your Pharah has free reign, because Orisa can't do much, Ryan obviously can't do much. The beat coming out here though, but you can't really push off that. But now, that Nano will be having to be massive from Penne.
The Bongo is drawn, but Minefield to counter the Bongo push. While Death Blossom coming out in the background, Youngling finding that hard Lucio bot. Rantrans looking good in this fight right now, with the Nano Mercy coming out as well. Neo, almost at another barrage, does take out Reinhardt, but has to retreat to fight because of the dynamite coming in. Bob is released onto the point, and Che does take down Neo. Sark finds the ball, and with that, it looks like the Doodles will be taking this point back.
Sarcastic and Etkin really just tearing that point up. Given the space they need, Pharah is taken out of the fight. But now McCree getting staggered out late here. This will be a very rushed fight. You don't have much of anything. The bomb here is going to have to be your win condition. But Diva's so far away, I don't even know if I have time to get value off of it, as Ball tries to sell at this point.
Shatter taking out the ball with the hard Lucio bot doing the finishing blow. And with that pin, the Diva will not be able to make it, and Doodles do win the first map with their MVP, Johnny Cruz himself, Lucio Hardball.
Yeah, and Lucio dropping that GG in the chat. A very sportsmanlike carry there, though everyone knows that he is the MVP and he is the special guest here. But looking at the final fight, just Sarcastic and Etkin doing most of all the work there, which is you really need them to do. Your tanks aren't really there to make plays, they're just there to keep your DPS alive enough to threaten the enemy Pharah, and once the Pharah is gone, there isn't really enough damage on the side of Rantrans to kind of punish those tanks, or even the DPS for that matter. The Ashe and the Reaper so important. The first fight there with Reaper getting picks onto the enemy, it's kind of a mistake to get too close to him because you want your Pharah to just kind of build up barrage. You can't fight them at all, and the ball going in too deep gets picked off, and then McCree as well going a little too deep and dying as well. But at the end of the day, Ranch Revolution came back on the point, fought back, but then Doodles, with that retake, with that beat coming out from Hard Lucio bot, were able to get their DPS in position to take out the opposition.
Yeah, well, we'll have to say goodbye to the Lucio bot because the sixth member did finally arrive for Doodles. So I wonder, will that make it? You think that's going to make a difference now that the carry is gone for Doodles?
No, I think even though he was a very talented and mechanically gifted player, I think the team coordination that might be brought from the actual the sub being taken out and the player being brought in might prove to be more beneficial for Doodles, as they kind of have that a little bit more coordination. As you saw there, at times it looked like Lucio bot was a little bit offbeat with the teammates. So we'll be seeing here if this new coordination does actually prove fruit as we move into the 2CP.
Yeah, and our map for 2CP is Volsky Industries. So, you know, that Lucio might actually come out just as an actual player this time.
Yeah, Volsky is very interesting. If you caught our featured map last year for last week for Discord tier last Thursday, you would have seen that there was a lot of fair being played on this map to very good effect. So you can see Ranch and even Doodles playing that fair as well, being very happy with this map, especially on defense, where that fair can kind of get the angle she wants. You can play behind the buildings, behind the skylines, and she isn't as threatened, while also being into a more slower brawl comp. She is very happy because there isn't much threat to her, and she can just kind of poke down and get damage like she needs, and then build up that barrage and obviously get the big play. But we'll be seeing if they do bring out that Pharaoh or if they opt in for something else. A lot of ball can be played here, but we're seeing what these teams kind of prefer. Ilios was all over the place. Obviously, you did have to be running Lucio if you were Doodle, so that may have influenced their comps on that map. So I don't know if there's enough we can glean from that, but this will kind of give us a more definitive what kind of style they like to play.
Yeah, definitely. And I do believe we'll probably even see the double bubble coming out, which has been a fan favorite for Tranquility the last few weeks. Just that Winston being able to dive up to the high ground with the bubble, being able to protect him. I think he'd be honestly a fool not to run it right now on defense.
There's a lot of applications you can have there, but it does look like we'll be rocking that Ryan Zarya, this ball comp with the Pharah. If you are Ranch Revolution. Okay, this is interesting. Typically, you see tanks that are less susceptible to getting run over, like a Ball, like a Winston, ones that can jump out, rather than the Ryan, because the counter to kind of Pharah comps, if you are playing a comp that doesn't have hit scan, like a Widow or an Ashe, for example, or even a Diva, is that you run over the front line, because the Pharah doesn't provide as much frontline pressure and damage, and more so as long, extended, just constant barrages back on your backline. So that is kind of what the Pharah brings. So if you can kind of mitigate that by just charging at their front line where there isn't as much damage to pressure them, then you kind of can start to win that on that side. So we'll be seeing if this Ryan is punished here on the side of Doodles as they bring out the Bastion. Very interesting. Looking for the TP top right perhaps, or even top left. We'll be seeing what they go for.
Yeah, running this Metro Bastion, that's something you never see coming. So interesting play. The team rotates up to the high ground. They do get that free top right high ground with the double shield. Will be pretty good for Sarcastic on this Bastion here. The Anti-Nade almost was able to help take out the Symmetra, but luckily be able to recover here. And now they're able to set up.
We'll be taking the TP to the other high ground. The Pharah, though, still uncontested.
Ooh, Ryan going in almost dead from that nice little Anti-Nade coming in. But with that, Pegasoul does find Shady in the spam damage into it. Sarcastic taking out the Ashe, and with that, this point is going to go straight to the Doodles.
Yeah, Doodles got that high ground, wasn't punished in the rotations. One of the biggest ways to punish this Bastion comp is to hit them in rotation. Pharah is great at it because they're all clumped up. You're getting a ton of damage. GC's almost, Neo GC almost has their barrage, so they were getting a lot of damage in, but the Bastion got set up too fast with not enough damage coming in for the barrage, because the barrage is going to how you're going to break that. You have the bubble on the Pharah so she can live long enough to perhaps burst the Bastion, maybe even through the lamp. So that win condition doesn't get fulfilled and the Bastion gets set up for free and kind of just does his thing. Now, keeping this comp, though, will be very interesting. We'll see what kind of TP they can go for. There's not many routes that you can take if you are the Sim Bastion.
Oh, TP does get taken out. What's going to get an interesting, but the Dynamite does find Free, almost taking down the Baptiste. Egan does have that wall, that window available, and Sarcastic with the tank configuration. The Nano is forced out for the side of Ranch. Nice block from the Reinhardt. Has that shadow ready. Raj coming in, does able to find the Bastion, but does get taken out too. Honestly, a good trade for them, but the Mercy getting taken out because of following that pharmacy. Huge shadow coming in. Trance not being able to protect everybody, but able to dish out the heals they need. And right now, that Bob coming in just to get that little extra damage. Falling off the map. How unfortunate. The Diva Mech fallen. And with that, we might start to see a tick going towards the side of the Doodles.
You have the Bastion coming back. He's going to get set up on high ground. This is looking dangerous. Bastion on recontest is crazy. You can't commit enough resources to kill him. He's just going to mow you down. Even a Valkyrie Mercy's in danger. The Flux coming out there. You can't contest this point. That Bastion's behind a window. He's going to put so much damage down.
With that, the Doodles will be probably be close to taking this map, and the Bastion will finally be able to set up on that high ground.
Oh, that's the TP spot they were going for. That's so creative. Yeah, he's uncontested. You cannot kill this Bastion. Never mind, they killed the Bastion. Whoa. That shield needs to go up there. Bagelfen needs to put that shield up there to protect the Bastion. That's your win condition. He's going to kill everything, but instead he gets taken out now.
Yeah, these symmetric turrets doing absolute work here as the Doodles are finally just killing the Staggers to get that last little bit of tick left. And with 3 minutes and 44 seconds, the Doodles have captured the second point on Bolt Sky with one of the most interesting runs I've seen here in Tranquility.
Yeah, a very interesting TP strategy. I'm sorry, Sarcastic, for the caster curse. Of course, as soon as I say it, you do get taken out, but that is how it goes. That is my job here. That's why I'm casting, just to curse you. But no, yeah, holding on to that Bastion ult for so long, kind of because the Bastion just gets more value out of being in turret form, that longer. You have just more sustained damage, which is what you need on the recontest, because you have to mow through health bars really quickly, less so you need the burst. But moving on to this next thing, what can Ranch kind of do? That's a pretty decent time. That's more than decent. That's a very good time set for Volskaya. Capping 2 CP with 3+ minutes and close to 4. That's really good. But we're going to see Ranch might be trying to maybe swap things up here.
Now we do finally get to see that double bubble, like I said, on defense coming out from Doodles, which I think might play to their advantage here, especially going up against that Pharah. The only thing is, the only real hit scan they have for it is the Torb turret.
You don't have much to deal with this Pharah. I like this enough that the Torb turret is deceptively good, except for the fact that Pharah does outrange it a lot of times, or if not outrange it, just outheal it with the Mercy Pocket and then just poke it down from range. But it does look like they won't be opting for that Pharah, more for the Tracer. But the double bubble here on the defense, much more mobile. You have the Sim turret, so now even Torb is mobile. So now Torb can go from high ground unless he just pushes up. Interesting. But you will be looking here, trying to look for a dive perhaps onto that Symmetra, or if the Torb plays close enough onto the Torb, his hitbox is large enough that Tracer can actually kind of melt him, even through the armor, if there's other damage to help him.
Yeah. Turrets getting taken down very early. Din getting slept while trying to get into that high ground, and also Anti might be able to get taken out because of the turrets coming in. Bubble does save him. With that, this push has already been slowed down, but maybe the Tracer can find something on the side.
Monkey playing close in this corner is dynamited out. NeoGC onto the backline, onto the Ana, but his team, all of his team rotates with that TP to assist him. Oh, the Tracer's caught out here.
Oh, Monkey being able to dive away. Youngling does able to take down that turret here, and Neo just trying to take out the turrets themselves, but almost getting taken out in the process. And while they're regrouping on the high ground, the TP is just honestly going to be huge for them. Sarcastic finding the ball. And with the new turret laid out, it's going to be hard for Neo to push with that Tracer. Even with the damage boost coming out, not able to put enough damage into the Torb, does have to force the recall. Almost at the Nano, does take the Ana, which will be res and falls to the turret once again. But the Rant, with the Monkey coming down, that's going to be huge for the side of Ranch.
Very interesting strategy there with that TP. They TP'd back to peel for their Ana, so the Tracer was dueling the Ana, and then suddenly there's a Torb and a Symmetra in her face. She has to run, and at that point, your Tracer's just running away and can't do any damage. But finding Bagelfen, this is their time to push. No Zarya bubbles to keep that Monkey alive when he does dive.
Yeah, and the Valve does get popped. The Nano Valve comes out, and Maxwell does get the res off as well. My goodness, this is some interesting gameplay we're seeing here. The wall does come out to maybe hope, but that Valve does finally find the Ana, and Molten Core coming out to kind of kite the side of this is all messy like this map is right now.
Well, if you're Rantran here, you're saying one thing, and that's worth. You got out the Torb ult, you got the Monkey ult, you got the Nano, you got the Valkyrie, you got the Wall. That's 5 ultimates. You used maybe your Valkyrie. That's so worth it for you. You have all of your win condition ults. You can bob them to point to pressure. They can't peek it. They don't have any shields to mitigate it. You can try to sleep it, but maybe the Torb turret wakes it up. You never know. Torb turret has a mind of its own. You have that Nano that can go down onto the Zarya to keep them up, or onto your Tracer or Ashe if you need extra damage. You just have so many options here, whereas Doodles has none. Except when you kill Ana.
Double does find the Ana in the bag, but they do have that pulse grab too as well.
You do have the pulse grab. You do get the res here coming onto that Ana, but again, you will have that Nano coming out. This is now time where Doodles has some opportunity. You Nano the Monkey, and Nano Monkey obviously can do a lot of damage, and there's not much they can do to peel for that Ana perhaps. So split off, but the ball just gets taken out by the turret. Very sloppy here. Vantrans needs to clean up positioning and cleaner engages.
Bob does come out, is able to find Egan. This might be what they finally need. Grab comes out, catching nothing just to try to stop that Mercy res. Nano Bob, baby, gets the 4K, which will finally get this point for Ranch.
Yeah, the Nano Bob coming out there, using that ult advantage. Like I said, you really only had the Nano and the Zagreb available, and neither of which were used. So you just kind of use your ults, and you should be able to win that very effectively. But again, like I said, that Doodles used 5 of their ults, Ranch used 5 of their ults. They have nothing really here to push in, and you do have that grab and Nano still available. You'll have to take a couple fights here before you can build up ultimates, or going for this Hanzo, which has the instant pick potential. That's the X factor you need to try and take this fight without ultimates. This is how you're going to win the neutral.
Yeah. We do see Che getting off that Monkey and switching over to the Hog. Just nothing but poke damage coming right now. And interesting rotation comes from the Doodles going to the bottom left to try to kite the Ashe Dynamite.
Mining point here, trying to get some touch, trying to bait out some drops, some rotations. You get the symbol out, but the ball will go down. This fight is over. The Hog gets a hook onto the Mercy. Everyone else is going down, but like I said, it seems that both these teams have a problem. Maybe not a problem, but more of a tendency to use a lot of ults very quickly one after another, which some would call a waste, but others would call being cautious. I would say both are true. Sometimes it would be a waste, sometimes it's being cautious, and right there I think it may have been a waste. You don't need that Valkyrie, you've already got the grab, you've already killed 4 people, so that's going to be a huge loss. That's a huge healing per second loss, it's a huge damage loss, because that blue beam getting spread to everyone is just too much damage to ignore. Now both these teams mostly in a no ult situation, just going to come down to which team can get positioning. If Ranch can take this high ground, kind of trying to get across, get their Ashe set up, get their Hanzo set up, and then try to farm out that Bob, pressure the point with that. But the Nano could be coming out on anyone they try to target.
Sleep does find the Ashe. Shield breaks down, and with that, the Rhine gets hooked into it, but it's not going to be enough to take him down, as the heals are all supporting him. Neo just trying to find that pick with it. Bob does get finally placed into the corner, and with that, they're able to, but the Torb ult comes in as well. A Youngling finding 2 with the Bob and just regular Ashe. Phelan taking out the counterpart Zarya, and with that, they're finally able to get some ticks here for Ranch. And might honestly be able to get the point now that all that's left to stop is the Symmetra and Ashe. But Hog does finally make it through. Vape will be used early to try to survive. Oh, what a huge bench from Demon. And the grab once again coming out, keeping them off the point in 1 minute and 2 seconds for Ranch.
Yeah, you didn't really have any ults on either side there, so what you want to do is, Divine Zarya is going to obviously take that position high ground. The Hog cannot contest that solo. There's still the anti-potential coming out from Edkin. He really can't contest that, so they wait. The Ashe pokes, gets some damage down. They try and pressure point a little bit, and then the Bob is out, and they've now kind of won the fight. There's nothing really to contest the Bob outside of the sleep, and unfortunately Torb did put some of his ultimate underneath that Bob, so the sleep didn't last very long. The entire side of Doodles was zoned off the fight, and some of them couldn't even get zoned off because they were trying to help their team, and then ended up dying. But we'll see here. It's going to be a little bit of time to make up. 1 minute versus 340. This is no small feat here. That's 2 minutes and 40 seconds to make up, which on 2CP can be a lifetime. but not much getting swapped up here, except we will be seeing the Bastion on defense instead of that Torbjorn. Interesting.
Yeah, and the ball and Sigma actually this time for the defense instead of running the double bubble trouble. I think maybe doing this with the Bastion might be a little more helpful than running the Torb, just because you have the fact that the Symmetra will be able to help move the Bastion around, and you'll have that shield to protect him as well.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like, Bastion's main thing is he's actually a little bit easier to kill than Torb at times because he can't really move while he's doing his damage. While there's a threat, he can't move. He's much more of a sitting target. Whereas Torb, he has that E that gives him a lot of health, a lot of armor instantly, and makes him move very fast, which can make him harder to hit. But Shay Young will be on this backline, so he can get picked up. But Ran Transfer was just trying to push in here and trying to take out that Bastion. Very little shielding available.
Yeah. Turret's doing a lot of damage here. Trying to weaken that shield does force the friendly bubble to come out. And Chaeyoung just honestly being a nuisance with that ball in the background, and they still haven't even seen the Bastion yet, going back and forth between the middle and right high ground. Thanks to that teleporter.
Yeah, they'll be taking high ground here. This is a little bit worse. Playing slow into this Bastion. You don't have the Lucio to speed around, but you're going to try to play this poke war with that Ashe. Because they don't really have much of a shield, the Bastions should be taking a lot of damage here. But if we TPing out of the line of sight of the Hanzo and the Ashe, constantly have to reposition. With that width being threatened, we're getting caught out by Symmetra balls and Bastion damage. Fun.
And Baptiste getting taken out by the Symmetra turret. Sarcastic just able to finally get them into that little room to pin them down, and with that, it will be a end of a round for Ranch. Things are looking good for the side of Doodles coming into round 4.
Yeah, Doodles here, the worst they can have is a draw. Obviously, you don't want that with a 3-minute, 44-second time bank, but that is the worst that could happen is a draw. But you just saw there, like, the Ryan Zarya comp without the Lucio can't really be fast enough to try and threaten the Bastion in any way. And when they drop down on low ground, they just have no resources to keep them up. But the squishies on high ground can't really peek out for threaten to Bastion. Symmetra's just spamming that with her orbs. That does so much damage. It's like a mini Pharaoh Rocket, but not so mini. This is more bigger than a Pharaoh Rocket, and it does as much damage. So you kind of are threatened. You can't peek out to help your tanks, but if you don't peek out to help your tanks, Bastion's going to shred through them. So you just kind of caught in this position where you're not able to do anything. Your tanks drop and you can't push out, but you can't not push out. So what happens? They just kill you slowly because you are because you have this indecisiveness, because it's not really much for you to do. It would have been much more preferable for them to try and take high ground on the right side instead of the left side up top left, because it's much more open for that bash and try and shoot them down. It's much easier for the Symmetra to spam. And you also deny the fact that they have the teleporter on the high ground. You can just deny that entirely. But we'll be seeing here a very similar comp coming out on offense, so except no Symmetra for that Bastion. This might be harder for the Bastion to get set up, though.
Yeah, but you will have Match's turret being able to place as a 7th man, getting those off angles too, which might allow Sarcastic to get the angles they need on the Bastion.
Mayhaps, but we'll see if this Bastion gets set up again. It's been shown that this will be a nightmare situation for Ranch. Not much to do about that. And we'll see what the ball is able to do, trying to disrupt that DPS line. Oof.
Early pig, Neo does find Match. And with that dynamite, forces out both the E from Sigma. And I don't think Sarcastic is going to be able to get, especially with a deep and outflank and immortality being used. And with that, this fight already been slowed down. But Sarcastic doesn't care. Sarcastic's already setting up on that high ground, and this is just what they need. Egan finding Shady. Youngling being able to get the trade-off, but Sarcastic finding Neo is now up 2, up 3. And with this pin, that's going to be off the map. Oh, Maxwell just taking Dins out of this fight. And with that, this will be going to the Doodles.
Yeah, a great job by Maxwell there to group the Rhine, but also a great job there from Chaeyoung on that Wrecking Ball to push the Ana off high ground and get her out of position. She was stuck behind those boxes there right outside the point, nowhere to hide from that Bastion and Sigma. Sigma can obviously get damage around that cover there, and Mercy comes over to help and gets blasted away as well. And then once you lose both your supports, there's nothing really for you to do. You can't really survive long against the Bastion. Mercy going for that.
Spin res.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cheeky play, but you will see that the Bastion obviously reigning supreme there in the end for Doodles, and Ranch is going to have to figure out something to do with this. Perhaps more of a faster composition, maybe some Lucio, maybe some more dive, maybe swap out the Rhine for like a Wrecking Ball or a Winston, which while both don't have great matchups in the Bastion, they also can do much more against that Bastion than the Reinhardt. You saw the Reinhardt had to flank all the way around to then charge him to then get booped off the map, which is unfortunate, but the reality of Reinhardt.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is round 2 or map 2, which means we are up at our halftime. We will see you back in just a few. And welcome back. What an amazing first half we had. From Lucio bots to Bastion strategies. Worst, you want to let everyone in on what they missed if they're just now joining in?
Yeah, you missed a very dominant first half here coming in from Doodles. First map was a little bit more close from Ranch. They were able to fight back and try and make a bigger contest of it, but the Lucio bot did prevail. His beats were immaculate and his boops were non-existent, but he did provide a lot. But moving on to the Volskaya, it was less so of that kind of story. The Bastion strategy coming out from Doodles kind of put Ranch Revolution at a pause because they didn't know what to do. They felt like they were too slow to deal with it. They didn't really have an idea of what they were trying to do, kind of just walking at the point slowly and kind of getting mowed down by that Bastion. And now we'll be moving into Hybrid here. After 2CP comes Hybrid, and of course everyone's favorite map, King's Row. So, from cutting on King's Row here, we'll be seeing probably more of this Bastion strategy coming out here from Doodles, a very famous, more considered trolley style that is actually very legitimate into certain compositions, is a TP directly onto Mondada's head. Mondada is the Omnic in the center statue, if you did not know. But you probably do because everyone knows King's Row, as this map is played all the time.
Just think about the irony of that strategy with an Omnic going on top of Mondada's head, mowing down all the humans. I'm just saying, I don't think that's what that statue was meant for, but geez, and we are seeing that Bastion from Sarcastic, so wouldn't be surprised.
If you have watched the Bastion cinematic, you do know that Bastion is a PTSD-ridden, bloodthirsty Omnic, so this does make a lot more sense for him to be the one to go on top of Mondada's head. So, but going in here more serious, like you do see the Bastion obviously coming out here from Sarcastic. Onto the head he goes. But to counter that, we do have the D.Va available from Phelan and the Ashe Hanzo. As soon as that Bastion goes up there, you need to see all of them shooting at him and D.Va ready to DM in case they try to fire back, so they can get enough damage down to break through a Sigma shield. Because there's only one shield here from Sigma, they need to break through that shield and then take out the Bastion. It's hard to hit a lamp up there. Trust me, I've played this comp a lot. The Baps always say it's hard to hit a lamp up there, but maybe not for Etkin.
Yeah, or you just, teleport up with him and throw it down immediately. I don't know. But here it comes. The teleport does come out, and Bastion does take on top, but the shield is not able to help survive with that nice angle that we're seeing from Neo, forcing him to drop off that statue. And right now, it's just poke damage, trying to find the angles, get the D.Va defense mages come out. Phelan almost losing that neck, but is able to stay in it.
The Bastion Commons got what they want. They pushed the defenders out of the position they were trying to hold. Now they can try and segment the defenders back into this back corner and kind of keep them there. The TP coming out here, this could be massive. Back on the head he goes!
But almost probably immediately taken out because of that. Oh, it does have to fall off. Chaeyoung does have the angle, gets a huge rock on the Hanzo, knocking him through the window. But because it is one of the Shimada brothers, is able to climb back up. But they are now trying to start to get that point contestment. The Symmetras do come out and almost getting that first tick, but does force both tanks to finally drop down and contest the point.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a mistake to go back on top of the head, but here the Rhine doesn't have any shield, and that Bastion rests back in. They're gonna get pushed back in this corner. They're gonna take map control. It's now on Ranch Revolution to push out into the Bastion, which is where he wants to be. The Hans are gonna displace him, but this retake could be messy.
Yeah, Pin comes in, does find Chaeyoung, almost taking him out, forces the immortality, but Demons does get punished for it. Bob gets thrown, Valkyrie is popped, and now we see Match just going up and down with the teleport onto the statue. Wall does come out to help prevent the damage coming out from the window and the Bob, but unfortunately was not enough. Maxwell does get taken down, but I think that is it. I think with all the picks they have, it will be Doodles' point.
Yeah, once the Bastion is kind of set up and you are pushed back into a corner and you have to push back into Bastion line of sight to take that point, you're in a very rough position. You have to make a concentrated effort to push out as a team with that D.Va DM and try and push and take the Bastion's position. That's the only way you're going to try and take that fight. Or somehow, if you manage to kill the front line too fast enough where the Bastion can't get any value, which is very hard to do and just as hard when you have two snipers. But coming in here, Bastion set up on that card. This is going to have to be time. Ranch is giving too much position here. They have to play close, and they have to try and get on top. They'll just keep giving space. This is going to make it so much easier for that Bastion. No, they're coming back in here.
Yeah, I think waiting for their team to get those off angles. But unfortunately, this pirate ship is going to be huge, especially with that Sigma E and the Diva. Neo does get taken down. The Nano is popped, but the shield goes down. It might not be enough, even with the Shatter almost coming to life. He hits the wall on the pin, but it finally was able to slow them down. Youngling does take Egan. Hutton Maxwell gets the revenge and will be able to get that res off. And they do, but the fight does seem over. But I mean, it's a free card right now.
Yeah, the Reinhardt here pushing, but the Symmetra's behind them. The Ana in the air now. Gonna be taking damage. The Symmetra turret still hitting them. Gonna be dying to that Flux. That's a massive pick. And now this fight should be going in the way of Doodles, but Diva alone on the card for now. Getting healed up. And now pushing into this next phase. You still have that window available. You still have that Bastion ult available. This will be a very difficult retake. And Reinhardt isn't back yet. And these DPS are very vulnerable to getting picked off here. There's the Diva getting remexed, but not gonna be much of a help yet.
Youngling does find Sarcastic, and the bomb does come out to contest it last second. Phelan gets the mech, but throws the bomb, and unfortunately the wall is not able to protect Maxwell. Youngling bomb finding the picks that they need. And with that, I think we might see Ranch Rage finally getting that hold that they've been looking for on this second objective.
Yeah, I think that Ranch does a very good job there of trying to play a little more proactive, pushing that bomb on cut, throwing that bomb into this place, and try and create space for them to push in. But now Sarcastic gonna be on that flank perhaps with Etkin. Let's see if they can match this up. A windowed Bastion, especially with that Bastion ultimate, can tear through a tank even with just 1 or 2 rockets, can almost one-shot or close to one-shot a Reinhardt or a Diva mech. So we'll be seeing here what they can do. That coordination on those two have to be good though, because the lamp is going to have to come out immediately as soon as the Bastion takes enough damage from these two snipers.
Bastion and Symmetra taking that high ground, forcing Phelan to drop and give it up. And with that, we will be able to see this window coming out for the Bastion. Nano does get forced, and a huge bomb coming out from the side, not following anybody, but the Nano Phelan does able to force that Bastion off. Window is popped, and Sarcastic just able to mow down both the Hanzo and the Diva out of her mech and finishes mission off. Maxwell being able to res Bark backfill, or Bagel. And with that, this fight might be in favor for Doodles. But it's not over yet with the Immortality being able to save. But here comes the Flux for the last second, and with that, they will be able to get the second point.
Yeah, once again, story of how Bastion comps want to play. Get set up, start mowing people down. But now, coming into this next fight, you have the M-Matrix available from Pikachu. You can go aggressive with that, try and just shred the Bastion instantly. Might not even have enough time here from Edkin to react. You have Fire Strike, does 200 damage. You have Ash and Hanzo shots, like 200 plus damage. So, this is your time. If you want to retake, you have to retake now with this lamp. You have to go proactive, and the Bob is just there kind of to create more space for your tanks if needed.
Yeah. Right now it's just nothing but a poke damage. Sarcastic had to finally get off that card because he had to reevaluate for the tank. With that, this push might be stopped. Window is coming out from the side of Ranch up in the high ground, trying to give that Hanzo the damage boost he needs to take out the Bastion. But the Diva, Hegel is just honestly dominating the high ground against Phelan, not being able to really keep it up with it. Wall does come out, and with that, the push does continue finally as Sarcastic's looking to get back onto that cart. Accretion coming out from Jay, but not finding any damage. Here comes the Bastion ult. Will he be able to take out Youngling in air after throwing the bomb? What a huge play. Here comes Bob with no immortality or shield to be able to protect. Finds Sarcastic, and Chung with a amazing playback. And with that, the Ranch will be able to stop. And oh my goodness, are they trying to feed this Bastion for this Rhino? No. They let the res happen, and Sarcastic's able to keep pushing. This fight is not over yet. Even with Changling in the middle of their entire team, not getting punished for this out of position, just because Sarcastic is able to do most of the damage, but finally will be taken out.
Yeah, the Sigma going a little too aggressive there. I would rather see the Sigma go into something a little bit more survivable. The Ryan is not the worst choice in the world here. Maybe even swap off this Mercy, go for a Zenyatta or a Ana if you want to get more frontline damage and more frontline healing. But you have the bomb here available. This is going to be very good at displacing the defense, trying to pick up. But the Symmetra going down, that's going to delay this even further, forcing out the res. You don't have res for 30 seconds now. If there's any more picks, they're permanent. So you're gonna have to play a little bit more careful and disciplined if you are here on Doodle.
Chaeyoung does have the Flux available, so they do have the combination of Flux Bomb, which is probably what they're looking for and reason why they stayed on to the Sigma so much. But Neo killing Bastion, that permanent kill like we were just saying before. Immortality is forced out, which means it will be a free bomb minus the Rhine Shield. So hopefully, TP Bomb? Oh, what a creative try on a TP Bomb, but wasn't able to find it because Denver was right there in front of the TP.
Yeah, we're seeing here them backing up. The Bastion still has plenty of space, but all the ultimates coming out here all at once now. Valkyrie, the Shatter!
Bad Nano Shatter coming out from mid. But I will say, what an amazing eat from Bagel getting that dragon out. This is last fight territory right now with the window coming out from both sides. Huge anti, but it doesn't matter because the window just does so much damage. And with that, oh my goodness, Sarcasm again with another tank configuration, and they will be able to get that third point.
Okay, looks a little rough there at the end there for Doodles, but they do manage to finish out that map, which is at least decent enough for yourself. You do want time there in case that Ranch Ranch does get more than a minute. They do not instantly have to force a draw, but you do be seeing here there's more chances for Ranch Ranch to kind of take over. If they get more than a minute, I like their chances a lot. But, so that's being said, they need to figure out this Bastion. Bastion was played the entire time on King's Row, which is not something we normally see. Normally, you just see them go on top of Mondada's head, maybe win the first fight, set up on cart, get pushed off cart, and then swap off. But the Bastion, they were so confident on it. They were just so confident with the Sim Bastion that they stayed on the whole time, and that's not good if you're looking at Ranch Ranch, because when you're confident that Sim Bastion is going to be the way to work, the way to win a map, that usually means the enemy team has a significant advantage, has been significantly playing better than you.
Yeah, and right now we're not seeing the Sim coming out for the side of Doodles, and Sarcastic maybe decided they want to continue that Bastion, but they do have the Torp turret. No, Sarcastic now coming out on the Symmetra. What a change up from Doodles. Youngling on that Widow, maybe hopefully trying to find an early pick.
Yeah, they're going back. Doodles is going back to the first defense they had on Volskaya, where they had the same exact composition. They used the TP very creatively to peel for their backline, so instead of the Ana using it to escape, they used it to send their Torb and their Symmetra after the harassing flanker. But now they're gonna have to back up here. Beware of that Widow, beware of that Hanzo, but Widow should be swapping off shortly. Unless they decide to stick on it, this is actually not a bad idea. You outrange them, and if Torb or Symmetra peek their head, they're just gone.
Yeah, poke damage can come from both sides. Not much. Double is at half health, but finally getting the heals from Pikachu. And a sleep on the Chaeyoung, but instantly woke up and forced a projectile bubble onto him and to the opposing Reinhardt. Right now, it's just poke damage coming in from both sides. Teleport coming up, try to get that high ground for the Torbjorn on the left side. Cut off the off angles and force them right side of the Nada statue. Sleep hitting Chaeyoung again.
Well, then Vega just got murdered. He went for the charge onto the sleeping Ryan and was just insta-punish. A great punish they're coming out. But the fight's not over yet. Ryan put out of position, but he should be fine. Shadow gonna come out to clean up this fight.
Oh, Match getting that hammer kill too in the background on Pikachu after the Shatter is laid. And right now they are just trying to stagger this Hanzo and Zarya, and do finally take him.
Yeah, I'd actually like a lot what Chaeyoung is playing, but the only problem could be when they get the Nano, they can Nano the Reinhardt and he can kind of walk at them a lot more effectively. You don't have that Nano to counter, so your Reinhardt is just going to get swung at for 100. I guess it's a lot more damage now because they just buffed the Reinhardt hammer. I'm used to the old values, but watch out for this behind. He's going to get some damage onto you.
Oh, a huge nade taking out Chaeyoung. Forced the immortality, but it was not in time. Right now, this is the time for the Ranch to push in as they do, and they still have not used that Nano, nor do they have used Window. Youngling switching over to that Reaper, finding Max Soul, and this will probably be it for them. Barrier does get taken down, but the Nano is used. Pin coming out, not able to find anything except for the taxi, but Match taking out Neo. But it's still not enough because Devage with that Nano is just able to do the damage they need, and with that, we will see Ranch take the point.
Yeah, they will be taking the point here. Very good for them. They have that Grab Dragons coming online. Only the they actually have both the lamp and the trance to counter. So if the trance does come out and they get anti or something, they have the lamp to make up for it. So very safe here from this Grab Dragon. But they're sending off the dragons early. Trans coming out to counter both the grab and the shatter, the Hunter Dragons and the shatter. But
Yeah.
a little bit decent.
Oh, and a fat shatter from Jae Young to reverse the attack. What a good play coming off from Ranch, but Jae Young just had the answer right back with his own shatter.
Yeah, you kind of LOS'd your Baptiste there. You couldn't really do much, and now you've kind of pushed yourself out of this choke. You're not longer holding choke. You're being held in choke here. Ranch is in a tough position, trying to push into this Symmetra Torbjorn. Once again, this proved difficult for the Volskaya a little bit on the first point of this map, but we'll see if they can break it. They're gonna have to try and send their Reaper in the hunt. He just got melted.
Jae Young just dominating with his Reinhardt right now. And then here comes out the Molten Core with the... Oh, we got buckets, ladies and gentlemen, with the wall coming out, with the window coming out as well. And with that, this push has already been stopped, taken down. Even with the Torb being taken out, it does not matter, because I think it might be time for that Torb to switch. But no, Match will stay on it.
Match is no coward. He will play the Dwarven champion. Look at me. Hero for as long as possible. But Jae Young on the flank with this shatter. If they don't scout this, this could be a really big fight when only using one, maybe two ultimates if needed. But they're just going to disregard entirely. They're going top left. They don't want anything to do with this hotel.
Yeah, I think they finally had enough of the Torbjorn being up in the high ground. And not to mention the TP being able to get... Jae Young slept in the backline, but there won't be any damage done to him as no one's there. Pin does come out, but Bubble does prevent the damage. Here comes the train out from the Zenyatta. The Immortality is brought out, but not going to help. And Death Blossom take out both the Immortality along with Neo's Dragon fighting the Zarya. Fallen getting Maxwell, and with this, the Doodles will finally be able to push past that horrifying choke that has been devastating for the last minute.
Yeah, Ranch finally be able to get past that choke, and we'll be moving on to Streets phase here. You have the window available, you have the grab available. You don't have any ults available here. If you are Doodles, it's your time to kind of just concede the fight. You're not really going to be winning this fight unless Ranch makes a huge mistake or a massive charge or some other right click comes out from either Maxwell or Jae Young. Jae Young will be on the high ground. This could be the pin they're looking for, but not likely.
Neo does find Egan, but Maxwell takes out Youngling, who was trying to contest Jae Young on that high ground. And the Nano is brought out, but no ults. Here comes out the grab with the window. Dab just trying to block damage instead of swinging into the grab with the Nano coming out. And with that, Jae Young does have Shatter coming up and will be taken out, unfortunately, due to LOS from his own support. And with that, Ranch gets the second point with 2 minutes and 28 seconds.
But you're happy with that. You were gonna dry fight anyways. You didn't have any ults, and you got all 3 ults, and they're all very high impact. The window, the window and the grab and the nano are all super high impact ults that are gonna be fight defining. So getting that out and having your own grab and having your own shatter, even your own trans now in case anything does go wrong. This is gonna be the fight to win if you are Doodles, and to take back your tempo, take back the map control.
Yes. Barrier is taken out, but the teleport comes down for the flank shatter. It finds 2, and the grab comes out as well, along with the wall. Bolts are just being thrown left and right. Oh, even the Molten Core comes out, and with that, Doodles did stop the point. But at what cost with the ult usage?
Yeah, they used a lot of ults. All of the ults they used are, except for maybe Shatter, are kind of longer charging ults that are very high impact. But you do have both defensive ults available, and with how quick the fight went, you didn't really get much ult charge on anyone else, except maybe Pikachu, as the window coming out early to try and deny them this space.
Yeah, Youngling being able to take out that turret. Jae Young not being able to find anybody. Oh, never mind. Gets Pikachu with that fire strike, and with that, this push was only taking 1 window fight.
Yes. Okay. This next fight, you need to back up here first of all. There's gonna be some staggers coming out, but you can't avoid it. Just let it happen. And then after this fight, you're gonna have to window aggressively. If you are Pikachu, do not use it defensively. You need to take the space away from Jae Young. Jae Young is playing very, very, very aggressive. You need to punish him with this window. Your window is going to be the way to do that. Your nano needs to come out onto your Rhino Zarya in case they go low, and then just kind of roll over the fight from there. We'll see though what they can do. They are chasing here. The Torbjorn out of position. This could be deadly.
Oh,
For
deadly it was
Youngling?
for Young. Oh my God, Youngling. Oh, and the Shatter was blocked, but the window does come out. And with the immortality down, Shatter fat catching 5, but unfortunately the pin taken out Pikachu once again. And that might be it, because this is last fight territory. Grab being used, but another great wall of Symmetra coming out to deny the damage. And that is going to be it. But someone did actually able to make it a point. The Reaper finding it with the teleport, but taken out so quickly. Ball coming in to try to stall to keep this dream alive for Ranch, but it will not be enough as the pin comes out from Che Young, and Ranch unfortunately will not be able to find the dance circle tonight, but they do have one more map, and right now, as everyone knows, map differential is huge, and coming out 2-2 tonight, there might be someone else in their bracket that has that 2-2, so it might come down to them winning this last map, so they're going to put all their cards on the table for this next map.
Yeah, not to be understated, you do want to get as high in the standings as possible, and map differential is one way to do that, so obviously nothing to scoff at, but Ranch will be fighting against the wall here for that one, because Doodles look a little bit unstoppable on that Symmetra or Symmetra Bastion / Torbjorn composition, as they just play an ultra aggressive playstyle that I don't think Ranch was really ready for. They're a lot more passive, a lot more controlled, and Doodles is a lot more aggressive, but with purpose. It's not unbridled rage that you see from some other teams that might happen, but more so a controlled aggression. Some people would contest the controlled part, but it's definitely been focused, if anything, as they do find those picks very often on those aggressive and have good enough alt counter usage to get away with some of these plays. For example, that late play on King's Row, they have enough alt counter usage to live out the grab, live out the window, live out the nano. So, great job from Doodles on that part, on that front.
With the final map being Payload, which one do you think we should see coming from the pick of Ranch Evolution?
You want to get away from a map that can be played with a Bastion and a Torbjorn, more angles, more openness. That's kind of what you want. So I'm thinking Route 66, if anything, because first point is actually a lot harder for that Bastion to function than you might think. A lot of flank angles for him and his team to cover, a lot of open space for the Pharah to be able to maneuver, and a lot of ability for tanks to get in and out of Big Earls very quickly. Not Big Earls. It is Big Earls, right? Am I
Yeah.
crazy to think that is Big
Yeah,
Earls? Okay, it
it's
is Big Earls. The gas station. See, I'm not so cultured to know these Texan infrastructure. Wait, I didn't mean that.
Well, we are heading to Route 66, so looks like they're paying attention to the our cast right now, because this is going to be huge for them if they do decide to run that far and to kind of counter that Bastion. But the way we've been seeing that Symmetra TP, even with the flank angles, it's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah, they've had other maps with flank angles. Volsky is one of them, and they weren't really able to punish the Bastion as much. I'm hoping that they learned from that and they kind of know more so coming into this what they need to do. I want to see a comp that reflects that. Coming out here, if there's a composition that doesn't kind of show that they have those more angle approach to the map, then, well, I mean, they're on defense here, so they are just going to be playing that hard ball. Probably going to try and play very close comp. Seeing the Reaper and Tracer so early to me, they might be playing in the train composition, a style that can net results, especially against the Bastion, because you can't let them set up, and because it does give you cover from spawn. But could be disastrous if you lose, because it starts a very early snowball and gives a lot of map positioning to the side of Doodles, but you do of course get that second test.
We do see an interesting comp coming out from Doodles. Roadhog Diva for the tank lineup, not a duo you usually see when it comes to that tank line, and the Genji Widow. So quick kills, not high damage. Might be in favor for Ranch with them running this, especially while they're hiding in that train. They don't know yet. Oh, yep, never mind. Egan was able to spot him out, and with that, the fight starts up. Bubbles coming out from both sides. Match finding Pikachu and Sarcastic finding Dim. With that early fight, Che Young getting a double dash going through and taking out 2, and that will be an easy early fight for the Doodles.
Yeah, a very lethargic engage there from Grand Revolution. They get found out, and then they kind of meander slowly at the opposition, which gives them long enough time to get around and kind of get the Hog in position to get that massive hook onto Pikachu. Gonna be swapping over to the McCree there, but I'm not sure if that's the problem. You do have Youngling taking out Sarcastic though.
Yes, but with that Mercy, they might be able to find the res, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for it. And the high ground just kind of being contested by Egan, but not enough because all of Rantrance is up there. Duncan diving in, Egan with a huge E on the pulse. But it's just easy card push for right now for the Doodles.
Youngling is proving to be a bit of a menace here for Sarcastic, but they are giving off a lot of card percentage. You have a lot of position here now, but the Demon's going to be diving into the back line. See if there's a punish here.
Yeah. I think Sarcastic finally had enough of the punishment, is going to take the Tracer duel here. Hook is not able to find anyone, and it's just honestly just easy poke damage and recovery for Rantrance.
Rantrance playing a more controlling composition, but you have to be cognizant of this Hog on the back line. The anti-native sleep has to be available in case he does flank around onto your Ana, but instead Youngling takes matters into his own hands. Now you have more space. There's less tanking available, but the blade.
This was the aggression we finally wanted to see coming out of the DPS from the side of Rantrance, and right now it's still an even fight with the Reinhardt getting nanoed. This push has already been stopped, and all that was used from the Doodles was the blade.
Yeah, they get the blade out, but no nano. Perhaps the nano blade would have been better because what happened was the Genji got squashed by the Reinhardt there, doing that doing the charge onto the back line, onto the Genji in the back line. But now we'll be seeing the nano here available. You can nano that Tracer, try to get that into that duel. But Youngling just proving that he's just a menace on this Tracer.
What a huge sleep coming out from his Ana. And Sarcastic trying to find the poke on Neo, does get the flashbang out and able to escape after using recall. But Youngling just honestly terrorizing that backline.
Yeah,
Neo
and
finds Che in the early pick, and right now it just seems like the Doodles are just staggering in this fight.
yeah, Rantrance is set up here. That McCree on that high ground, gonna be hard to remove. The Wrecking Ball here gonna be looking to do just that, trying to remove them from that high ground, but unable to do so. The McCree is split. This could be their time to shine, but you gotta watch out for Youngling. He's on that back line.
Ooh, Youngling finding Che Young. Does get the res does come out, but with this, there is no doubt that the Nano Blade, which will be coming up very soon, might be enough. Pulse does force out the immortality, so this will be huge if Che Young can get that blade up. Match taking out the immortality, Sarcastic finding Pikachu, and with that, the card is starting to move once again for the Doodles, and with the pick up, without being forced out as well, and the pile drive. Double getting taken out by Maxwell. Maxwell just being deadly with the Valkyrie Mercy. Falling, finding Bagel with the bomb, but it's not going to be enough as the res will come back up. And it finally looks like, oh, Fat Shatter coming out! But unfortunately, the recovery was too quick with not enough damage there. Immortality is used, does force the mines out onto the point with the Nano coming out. Blade not being used. Che Young getting that blade up, but will not use it because the Nano is all he needs. And finally, the Doodles will take first point.
Yeah, you will be seeing here some late staggers, but that shouldn't matter too much. I mean, if you're Rantrance, you held for a long time, and now going into the second phase, they only have the blade available. No nano, that makes him much more susceptible to even just a Baptiste shooting him, but especially that McCree, and if that Tracer decides to peel. But still some more staggered picks coming out here from the side of Doodle. But now moving in, you do have the nano to take space, you have the window in order to deny angles from the side of Doodles, but Doodles isn't going to be very relying on angles. They're going to be in your face, on top of you. That Tracer Genji ball just coming on top of you and trying to jump you. The window's not going to be as useful, so what you might want to do as the BAP is stay back and window for yourself to get more healing and more damage out onto those divers.
Yeah, Pulse does find, but Immortality does save out. Oh, you gotta love Baptiste, ladies and gentlemen. High ground finally being taken for Rantrance and actually kind of forcing Doodles back, but with the ball constantly being in the background, it's not gonna be matter. Slap is missed. Oh, actually, Sarcastic gets hit by the sleep and almost gets taken out, but does have that recall to save that. Maxwell rezzing Bagel. Youngling taking out Che Young, and the Nano is popped out. Will he be able to find someone? Here goes the High Noon getting the hamster. And with that, Rantrance has stopped this push.
Yep, Rantrance using the ultimates to try and fight back and take some more map control away from them, winning out this fight. But it's not over yet. The Nano Blade almost available here, but the Ana gonna be picked out. No Nano Blade without that Ana alive, and more staggered picks coming out here. This will lead into a last, like, full team fight here for the side of Doodles. They have to be quick and they have to be efficient. The Nano Blade has to come out, and they could actually use the bomb to create space for the Nano Blade. Stand in the backline with the Nano Blade. The Ana is running away. She's not going to be able to try and hit a sleep, or the McCree's not going to be able to hit a stun if there's a bomb there in their face forcing them away, and that's exactly what they seem to be doing.
Bomb does come out. Unfortunately, though, Bomb did not force out the immortality, so they do have the immortality still available. And with that, the Valve comes out with the Nano Blade. Immortality instantly deleted along with both support and Neo. Fallen getting the 4K. Will he be able to find a 5th one on the Reinhardt? No, Sarcastic denies him, and Young takes Che Young out before he can turn and get Young.
Yeah, but they should be pushing this in here a little bit too late on that re-engage, but perhaps they could be trying no Lucio here. But Tracer, if the Tracer does touch, they can maybe stall this out. As long as Tracer lives long enough, Youngling doing a great job of that. And the Zarya comes out! This is a Riki test coming back in! This is massive!
Minefield coming out for Doodles, but the window does help take out that Tracer, but it seems like it's not going to be enough because the Panahai is not able to find anything with that deep defense matrix just right up in their face. And with that, only the Ana and Ryan are there to contest for the side of Rantrans, and it's not going to be enough as Ben is just constantly having to back up, and now that his Ana is down, he will just have to give up the second one.
Yeah, as you see, maybe if the Reinhardt had been there, if he had been there with that shield for Neo on that high noon, it could have been a lot more clean of a re-engage, because it was really staggered. Of course it's going to happen on a re-engage on occasion, but maybe if the Tracer touches, you put the Zarya down, and then you kind of, Neo waits for the Ryan to come out before he starts to do his damage, before he starts to poke out, because then he's less susceptible and he can try and get that high noon from safe cover where the D.Va can't just run in his face for free. But moving into this next fight, you do still have the bomb available here from Etkin. That is going to be your way to try and take the space away, or you try to keep the mech, because if you do bomb, Phelan does know he has a free opportunity to grab. There is no DM available to stop it. You could just solo grab the Sigma and just burst him down, or let's try to see if another person goes out of position. But we'll see what the decision comes in as the fight engages.
Neo did take out Che Young in the range. Oh, Fast Shadow finding 3, and with the huge anti-nade coming in, Bucket's taking out Phelan, taking out Che Young, and Egan finding the Tracer coming in. It's a 4v4 right now, folks, with the Valve, or excuse me, a 5v4 with the Valve coming out as well.
Yeah, and you see here, they're going to be pushing forward. That might be in trouble, but you do have the Nano level. This should be going down onto the Reinhardt as soon as possible. Create that space. They need to run, though. This could be massive bomb.
Grabbing 2 in the bag, and a pulse coming out, so even trades from both sides, as Sarcastic was able to find 2 during the grab. Maxwell getting the res off, Youngling getting taken down by Egan, and this push is looking in favor of the Doodles. Nano does come out onto the Hanzo, forcing the Zarya bubble to be used. Unfortunately, though, this Ana pocket is super strong, and the high noon on the top, Buckets left. What a huge play. Brigitte coming in with the Reinhardt. Egan getting taken out. The Dragon being used to go across point to try to get force ult. Here comes the Flux coming in, finding the Zarya and getting the Reinhardt down low. But that Ana just keeping up the Rhine. Sleep coming in, anti onto Segan, but isn't going to be enough. No, with that, they're finally getting that last push in and recovering the health.
Yeah, that Nano having to go onto them. They're just going to push this in unless they get the rally in. Finally getting the rally in, they're going to be trying to push the point. Brig does die. Zarya, no bubbles available. They can just push these tanks here. The Rhine shield is going to be very low. They're getting poked down here. The Hanzo providing so much damage. Frontline just gets rolled over, and the Nano going down on the McCree there to save him from getting slept on that high noon flank just cost them so much. They didn't have that Nano for that Reinhardt to keep the front line alive, so you kind of saw the front line then get rolled over because they lost their damage in McCree, and they lost a key defensive ult in Nano onto that Reinhardt. So maybe a bit of a mistake there from Neo to go on that high noon flank without any support, because he didn't have a bubble available. Obviously, he got slept through it, or he got slept, or it got bursted through so fast, which is a really good job from Doodles there too. I recognize that this is the threat, burst through the bubble if it's there, because some people get super afraid to shoot the bubble, even if it would result in a kill, because they're like, oh, I can't charge the Zarya, but if you bursted the bubble quick enough just to kill the person, that's what you need. So a good job there from Doodles, a target priority. And moving into this, they cap first. No time, but that's not as important on payload because there is no threat of that 2 CP third point cap resulting in a draw thing. So seeing here a little bit less pressure on them if this map does get finished by Ranch.
Well, I'm on the side of you. There is a possibility of drawing on these maps, even as the payloads push. And train community, remember, if we do see it during a live match here on the Tranquility's Twitch page, I will donate $50 to Trank. So who knows? We might finally get to see it.
Okay, if it does happen, $50. That's really cool. But it's payload, not very likely. So you might be keeping that $50, but maybe you might be giving it up. We don't know. But we do see here from Ranch a very much slower sniper and fairer composition. But with Etkin on that Diva and Chaeyoung on the Echo, this could actually be really difficult for the Pharaoh to play the game. It's on Widow's duty now to try and deny Echo the ability to just run at the Pharaoh, because what can happen is Echo can jump up, right click the Pharaoh, and then instant E her, and then she's just kind of die. She's just gonna die. But it looks like a good job here from Ranch to begin cycling out. Oh, that's not a good start.
Yeah, match finding Phelan after use of bubble was able to take him out super quick. Rez will not be able to do, but Youngling fighting Sarcastic with a nice headshot. Now that Farah has no Junkrat to deal with, they can focus on doing the duel battle with the Echo up in the air. Ooh.
Yeah, you're seeing the Hog here looking for the flank. Because the Hog can't actually either deny space from afar or even contest the front line, he's just gonna hook. Oh, another great hook! Forcing out that lamp, and now Echo onto the back line. But Youngling will not take this lying down.
Chaeling does able to find the Mercy while Youngling gets Ana, but that whole Hog booping Denvig off the map and taking out the Pharah as well.
Yeah, now you're gonna see here Youngling on that Widow has been doing a great job of kind of providing, but we're gonna see a swap over to the Hanzo. Okay, this is gonna be them trying to deny angles, line of sights from the Ashe and from the Echo especially. But the Hog here is gonna be what's gonna disrupt that. Hog's gonna play in this top right. Good job on Rantrans to identify this and then kind of push that top right with their tanks. But they get melted.
Ooh, what a huge play this Hog match is doing on this high ground. Bubble wasn't able to come out in time, so that was going to be that push right there. Neo might get taken out if he keeps trying to push up this Hog.
Yeah, oh, but he gets slept. This is dangerous, but he should be fine. Diva's there in case anything does go super wrong. I'm looking to peek, but yeah, again, not looking to take this high ground again, perhaps. Maybe a little bit PTSD from the last time. Ben Vega saying, I don't want to go up there. I'm going to get one shot again. But a little bit of aggressiveness coming out here from Doodles, and Youngling and Neo looking to punish that, but actually ends up being Phelan as they try to push this in a little bit further.
Grab not finding anybody, but does force out the beat drop for Panic. Match, though, in the background once again gets antied and finally gets punished for being on this flank. And with that, Youngling is able to mow down with the help of Phelan on Sarcastic, and it's finally a good push for Ranch.
Yeah, now you're gonna see here Denvigger taking up high ground on Big Girls. Ana in danger here, gonna be taken out. But now it's Denvigger losing his life. This is bad. This is gonna give up a lot of map control. No Reinhardt there to stop anyone from taking the top of the gas station. Bomb coming out late here. But now Hog's on the point. It's gonna be difficult for them.
Youngling able to take out Egan before the rematch. Neo finding the Lucio with the whole Hog pushing the Ana, getting the sleep off while the Nano Zarya is able to help, but that vape is just so much healing for him. Bob coming out, Sarcastic finding Pikachu. This push for Ranch is went from a good looking one to the last one of the night, maybe. Double is hiding behind that rock, but won't be able to get out.
Yeah, you saw there on them pushing, they got really split off. They lost their Reinhardt as their Widow was pushing the Ana. I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe the supports just weren't aware that that was the play the Reinhardt was going to be going for. But moving in here, you almost have that Grab Dragons, but only 10 seconds left. One, someone has to touch, and two, you have to get that Grab Dragons off before the map ends. Now, Reinhardt dropping the ball. Now, there's going to be very little touch. If it is, it's going to be very sloppy.
Ooh, he can get in that eat off. Not that it was going to hit anybody with a dragon. Youngly be able to find Honor though in that grab, but the Doomfist coming out from Sarcastic to hopefully stop the ball. Match fighting double once again in the backline and getting Youngling. And with that, this fight is pretty much over for Ranch. Pikachu just trying to hold on to life, and while his paw is trying to test with the spin to win, but there's no room for it. Jae Young, too much damage, gets the copy off once again, and with that, Doodles take map 4.
Yeah, and that kind of sums up the night here for Ranch. A little bit too slow, a little bit too lethargic, and a little bit too disorganized and disoriented. No real purpose or structure with their pushes, and a little bit slow as well. Not opting in for that Lucio at any time with the Reinhardt, making it extremely difficult for him to take space quickly. And then on top of that, they weren't quite in sync on what they were going to be pushing and where. Like Doodles was. Doodles had that aggression that you saw, the fast aggression that came out with purpose, where they were focusing a single person or close to a single person in the fights. But look in there, Ranch will be losing 4-0, but Doodles here moving up to 4-0 in this stage, but Ranch 2-2. Still plenty of games left. Nothing to say crisis over, but a little bit of a worry here.
Yeah, they're going to definitely have some good games to go back in VOD, because none of these matches were losable, or excuse me, weren't winnable for them. It's just a matter of that aggression that they haven't found yet. So I think once they go back with their coach and talk it over, they'll be able to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, Doodles just the aggressiveness won in their favor. So Worst, who would you say is your MVP of the night?
It's close. It's hard to say because something that we didn't really touch on the broadcast that I wish I had was the fact that Doodles was actually swapping up who played what, especially on that last map, because they're all, except for one player on their team, put down as a flex player. It seems that they just really are this flexible team that there isn't one role that they kind of have people play on, but this kind of like the player they want, right, for the specific situation at hand. But all of that said, I do believe that Jae Young was very consistent on both the main tank and on the DPS there at the Echo at the end and the Genji. So I would have to give it to Jae Young just for his versatility and his effectiveness on any role he played.
I'm going to have to give it to our Bastion player of the night, because, I mean, to be honest, to be able to run Bastion with comps that you normally wouldn't see, especially on Volskaya, and just to keep pushing on and just still be able to effective to get that third point on King's Row. I mean, Sarcastic, you got to give it to him. He definitely can run that Bastion. Maybe you've been watching a little Colorblind, a little Bastion main, but hey, they were able to do with whatever they ran. So that's not an easy character, and Ranch Revolution never found an answer to it, so why not? But
yeah,
still just it sucks to see that happen.
You hate to see the 4-0 no matter what team it is. You always at least want to see them make it close, but yeah, that'll suck for Ranch Revolution, but I'm sure they can come back from this. They can obviously look at what happened today and learn from it. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, our Overwatch night is not over. In fact, at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, there will be a beat drop with an amazing team that I got to interview, Heatwave. So head on over to our YouTube page and get ready to listen down, hear some fun facts about the team, and some changes, because new name, but technically speaking, not a new org. So you'll get to find out some little fun facts about them as well. And well, that's going to be it for me. I'm Gizmo Charmander.
And I'm Wasted of You player.
And we had Cav on production tonight. Amazing job, Cav, as always. And we'll see you next time.